You ever feel like you're running on a treadmill, working harder and harder just to stay in the same place? You've got 1,000 digital friends, but you feel disconnected. If you feel this way, you're not alone. And it's not a personal failing, it's a symptom of our times. We're taught to hustle, to optimize, to control every outcome. But what if that entire approach is fundamentally flawed? What if the answers we're searching for aren't in a new app or another productivity hack, but in thousands of years of ancient wisdom? What if the secrets of navigating life were written down centuries ago by people who faced chaos, plagues, and the collapse of empires? Well, we're going to explore 5 life-altering lessons from the Stoics, Buddhists, and Taoists that you can start using today. So let's get started. Idea number 1, the Stoic art of acceptance. Let's start with a question that gets right to the heart of modern anxiety. How much of your daily stress comes from fighting your reality? You're stuck in traffic, dealing with a difficult coworker, or a project goes off the rails. We burn so much energy wrestling with things that are completely out of our control. The Stoics of ancient Greece and Rome were obsessed with this exact problem. The philosopher Epictetus, who was born a slave but became one of the most respected thinkers of his time, offered a brilliantly simple solution. He said there are things we control and things we don't. That's it. We only control our own thoughts, judgments, and actions. Everything else, our health, reputation, the state of the world, is ultimately external. The Stoics argued that our suffering doesn't come from those external events themselves, but from our opinion about them. It's not the traffic jam that makes you angry, it's your belief that you shouldn't be in a traffic jam. This ancient insight is now a cornerstone of modern CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most effective treatments for anxiety. It proves that by changing how we think, we can absolutely change how we feel. So how do you use this? Well, think of it like a mental sorting system. The next time you feel that wave of frustration or anger, just pause and ask, is this thing I'm worried about in my control or out of it? If it's outside your control, your job isn't to fight it, it's to accept it. If it's in your control, like how you respond, put your energy there. This isn't about being passive. It's about redirecting your power from a fight you can't win to the one place where you're always in charge, your own mind. Idea number 2, the Buddhist path of mindfulness. How often are you physically in one place but mentally somewhere else? You're in a meeting, but you're replaying a mistake you made yesterday. You're with your family, but you're worrying about a deadline next week. The Buddha taught that much of our unhappiness comes from this exact habit. He said, "Do not dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." The core issue, according to Buddhist philosophy, is that we're always lost in thought. We get attached to what was and anxious about what will be, creating a cycle of suffering, or dukkha. We suffer because we cling to things that are by nature impermanent. We want good moments to last forever, and we fight against the bad ones. But everything changes. Resisting that truth is like trying to hold back the ocean. The promise of Buddhism is that we can find peace not by changing our life, but by changing our relationship to it through mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judging it. You learn to observe your thoughts and feelings without being swept away. You become an observer of your mind instead of a prisoner to it. Here's a simple way to start. Find a quiet spot, set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit down, close your eyes, and just pay attention to your breath. Feel the air come in and feel it go out. Your mind will wander, because that's what minds do. You'll think about your to-do list or what's for dinner. The moment you notice you've wandered, just gently, without any judgment, guide your attention back to your breath. That moment of noticing and returning is the entire practice. Each time you do it, you strengthen your ability to live in the present, the only place where life is happening. And that brings us to idea number 3, the Taoist way of effortless action. Our world glorifies the grind. We're told to hustle, to force our will on the world, to push relentlessly. The result? Widespread burnout and the feeling that we're constantly swimming against the current. The ancient Taoist sages of China offered a radically different approach. It's called Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated as effortless action, but it doesn't mean being lazy. It means acting in harmony with the natural flow of things instead of fighting it. The central text of Taoism, the Tao Te Ching, says, "The Tao never acts, yet nothing is left undone." So what's that mean? For Taoists, water is the perfect metaphor for Wu Wei. It's soft and yielding, yet over time it can carve through the hardest stone. It doesn't fight obstacles, it flows around them, effortlessly finding the path of least resistance. Wu Wei is about bringing that quality into our lives. It's about letting go of that desperate need for control and trusting the process. Like the artist who gets in the zone and feels like painting is creating itself. To practice Wu Wei, you start by noticing where you're applying force in your life. Are you trying to force a relationship to work? Maybe micromanaging your coworkers? Trying to make someone feel a certain way? Wu Wei invites you to just loosen your grip. Try to find your flow state in the situation instead of trying to control everything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just stop pushing and just listen, observe, and respond to how things are, not how you wish it to be. Idea number 4, the Stoic secret to a fulfilling life. If you knew today was your last day, what would you do? Would you spend it scrolling social media, arguing with strangers online, worrying about what someone thinks of you? Probably not. You'd focus on what actually matters. This powerful thought experiment is the heart of the profound Stoic practice memento mori, which is Latin for remember you must die. Now this might sound morbid, but for the Stoics, it was the ultimate tool for living with meaning. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Our problem is we live as if our time is infinite. We put off our dreams, we procrastinate telling people we love them, and we waste days on trivial things, always assuming there's a tomorrow. Memento mori shatters that illusion. It's a filter that clarifies what's important. The awareness of our mortality doesn't lead to fear, it leads to appreciation and urgency. It leads us not to sweat the small stuff, because in the grand scheme of things, it's almost all small stuff. Here's how to practice this one. Each morning, just take a moment to remember your time is finite. You can simply tell yourself, today is a gift, and I won't waste it. When you're facing a challenge, ask, in the face of my own mortality, how important is this? This perspective helps you cut through the noise and focus on what truly gives your life meaning. It's not about fearing death, but about using the thought of it to truly live. And lastly, idea number 5, the Buddhist antidote to desire. We live in a culture that's constantly telling us we're not enough. You need a newer phone, a bigger house, the perfect body. The engine of modern society is the creation of desire, that feeling that happiness is just one purchase away. This creates a never-ending cycle of craving and disappointment, and it's the exact problem the Buddha identified as the root of our suffering 2,500 years ago. Buddhism teaches that our suffering comes from attachment and craving. We attach our happiness to things that are fleeting, but possessions break, looks fade, and praise turns to criticism. When we stake our inner peace on unstable things like these, we're setting ourselves up for a life of anxiety. The solution isn't to get more, but to need less. The antidote is non-attachment and gratitude. Non-attachment doesn't mean you can't enjoy things. It means you stop clinging to them for your happiness. You can appreciate a beautiful sunset without needing it to last forever. You can enjoy success without your self-worth depending on it. And gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have. It trains your mind to see the abundance that's right in front of you. So here's your practice. End your day by listing 3 small things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. It could be the warmth of the sun, a kind word from a stranger, or the simple fact that you're breathing. By regularly doing this, you actively rewire your brain to find joy in the present instead of always chasing it in the future. You start to realize the happiness you've been searching for has been here all along. Okay, so today we looked at 5 ideas the ancients knew about: the Stoic art of acceptance, the Buddhist path of mindfulness, the Taoist way of effortless action, the urgency of memento mori, and the freedom of needing less. But these aren't just ancient ideas. They're a forgotten blueprint for living a good life. This wisdom has survived for thousands of years for one simple reason: they work. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who might need to hear it. I'll catch you on the next one.